and welcome to Ones to Watch, powered by Football Index, where you bet on the football stock market by buying shares in the world's top players. I'm joined, as always, by our resident pundit, Sir Alan McInally. How are we, Al?
Morning, Emma. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, looking forward to games at the weekend, and obviously our 3 ones to watch this week. Couple that I genuinely think should be in there, and one of them might be a little bit more controversial.
I'd agree with that. Let's get stuck straight in, because the first one is an obvious one. Sergio Agüero, 32 years of age, out of contract at the end of the season. What are your initial thoughts on him, Al?
Well, we could have had him in at any time, couldn't we? We could have had him in even before he became a football player. He's that good. He has been one of the main reasons that City have had such a success over the last few years. He's struggling a little bit. I think, did you just say he's 32?
Yes.
32 now? Yeah. So he's picking up injuries at a time he doesn't want to. And I think that's probably reflective of some of City's results lately. But he's certainly been one of the strikers that you get the opportunity to watch him. He's just so fantastic. And Pep Guardiola absolutely adores him.
And I mean, the stats reflect that. If you have a look at Sergio Agüero, is all-time at Manchester City. He's played 373 games, scored 255 goals, and provided 73 assists. So he's scoring a goal every 107 minutes. If you have a look at the trophies as well, 4 Premier League titles, 4 League Cups, 1 FA Cup, and of course his manager speaks in glowing terms of him. He spoke about him returning to fitness. He said he came back. It's important. We worked for some time without strikers. Gabriel did well against Liverpool. It's important to have both when Sergio is fit as a striker. He is amazing. He's adored, isn't he, by Pep?
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, Emma, with the injuries he's had, you could probably added another 20 goals onto them for sure. And he probably would have been, probably over 400 games. He has been just brilliant. I mean, he's brilliant to watch. And to be fair, I think actually over the last couple of seasons, I think his team play has been better, and not just, I'm the man that's going to stick the ball in the back of the net. So he just has been fantastic. And Pep's right, when he is fit, it's better having both Jesus and him. And it's a lot to ask of Jesus to carry the can without Agüero. I probably thought genuinely that Pep might have spent another striker, brought another striker in the summer, because he knew the situation with Agüero's injury, etc. And he did come back and he's injured again. But the bottom line is, when he plays, Man City are a better team. It's as simple as that. Psychologically for the other players as well, apart from the fact that Agüero can stick the ball in the back of the net.
Do you think on that, Al, is there a chance of Agüero out Messi in this summer? Or maybe, Messi just joining anyway?
Well, I suppose when Pep signs a 2-year contract extension, everybody just presumed because Messi is in the circumstance he is at Barcelona. Although, having said that, Emma, I don't know whether you saw this, that I heard that the Messi deal to Man City is a no-go. So we'll generally just have to wait. I mean, never be surprised at anything that happens in football, to be honest. But Messi to Man City, I suppose if you think Pep's relationship with Messi, the financial clout that Man City have, there probably only seems one destination for Messi if he leaves. And it's a big if he leaves Barcelona. But could you imagine Agüero fit and Messi in the team? I don't know whether you just put the lights out and just say, get on with it. It's all over, isn't it, really? Yeah, I mean, so it's an interesting situation. But first and foremost, we're talking about ones to watch. We're talking about someone in Sergio Agüero that has been quite simply sensational. And I'm sure Man City are looking to try and get him fit as quick as they possibly can to get them back to where they want to be, which is obviously at the top of the table.
And just finally, Al, in your opinion, where does Agüero rank in the best ever Premier League strikers?
Oh, gee whiz, Emma. Well, he's got to be certainly one of the best. In my head, when someone actually speaks about the Premier League, I always think of Alan Shearer, because he could still be one to watch. I thought he was that good. I mean, the goals he scored, I think he had, he was strong, he was good in the air, etc., etc. But Agüero certainly has to be in the top 5, and I'm throwing in an Henry, etc., etc., maybe even top 3, because of all things that's happened good at Manchester City, normally Agüero has been on the end of them. And let's face it, Emma, we cannot possibly forget the last day of the season against Queen's Park Rangers, when Martin Tyler just goes, Agüero, boom. And he will be forever cemented in Premier League folklore of that commentary And there's only one man that bulleted in the back of the net was Sergio Agüero. That's how important he was to Man City. And that's why, not just that goal, obviously, but that one kind of epitomises when you think, Sergio Agüero, what a striker.
Absolutely, and that is why he's our first one to watch this week. Feel free, as always, to have your say in the comments below. Now, our next one to watch, Al, Nicolas Pépé, 25 years of age, joined Arsenal from Lille for 72 mil. And before I get your opinion on Nicolas Pépé, I just want to give you this quote from Tim Sherwood, who said, Nicolas Pépé for 70 mil. If Pépé is 70 mil, then Jack Grealish is 170 mil. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Grealish is worth more than that.
How much?
70, another couple of quid. 170 million and 33 quid. I think probably Tim's talking about the fact that Grealish's form is certainly fantastic. He has been one of the catalysts at Aston Villa that's made them obviously better. And you can't really say that about Nicolas Pépé, unfortunately. He's come with it's a big price tag, that isn't it? 72 million. And incidentally, he scored some wonderful goals. He's had some good performances, Emma, but not enough. Not enough. You're spending that kind of money on a football player. You want them to really be an influence in the team. You want them to be a leader in the team, maybe more first and foremost. And I don't see that with Nicolas Pépé. He seems to be, I'm in for 20 minutes, I'm out for 20 minutes. And, that's not enough. And I think Mikel Arteta is probably frustrated as much as a lot of the fans are that he came with a big reputation and as of yet hasn't quite fulfilled it.
Yeah, you're right. We haven't seen him fulfill it just yet. If we have a look at his stats at Arsenal, he's played 55 games, scored 11 goals, provided 12 assists, and he has the same amount of red cards as goals and assists combined this season. That's just not good enough, is it, Al?
No, it's not. And the disciplinary side of things doesn't help. We'll get on to that. I think something happened the weekend. But you want him to be, if not scoring, certainly his assists have to be so much better. That hasn't been the case. And like I say, I think Arteta will be pretty frustrated with his contribution at the moment, And by the way, you only have to see with Arteta picking a football team that Nicolas Pépé is not one of the first on the team sheet, Emma. So it's a problem for Arteta, and there's only one person that can change that, and it's Pépé. He needs to give you all you want from a football player. Is to give you everything you've got. From 1 minute to 90 minutes. Whenever you take part in a football match, just give me everything you've got. We've paid that kind of money for you. This is what we saw. This is the potential. Just try and give me your best. And I don't think you can point the finger at Pépé and say that's what he's given Arsenal so far.
No, you can't. And obviously, you mentioned there the incident at the weekend with the headbutt that we heard Mikel Arteta say, it's unacceptable. And he's right. He felt that he'd let him down after giving him a start. You can't do that at any level, can you, Al?
No. And the other thing is, of course, Emma, with his form not being particularly good, so people are already questioning him. That kind of childish approach to, well, I'm not happy with him kicking me or pushing me, so I'm going to hit. And incidentally, if you're going to headbutt somebody, headbutt them properly. I didn't see the game. I didn't see the game live. And when I saw it, I was like, there's 800 cameras at a football match, right? And he thinks he can do that. And incidentally, it was like, maybe. It was embarrassing at best, to be honest. And that kind of not cowardness, that's unfair maybe to say that, but that petulance in football players, just because you're on big money and you think you can do what you want, doesn't enamour you to your football club or to the fans. Because any manager or football fan that goes to watch a football match, when we did that, rather, we want to see 11 against 11. We don't want to be finishing the game with 10 men. And when you do, all you do is put your team under pressure. So I understand Mikel Arteta being hugely disappointed and angry with Pépé, but that kind of behaviour is I use the word petulance because that's how it seemed to me, as though I don't care. And he's got to get rid of that kind of attitude, if that's the attitude he's got, and try and give back to Arsenal the potential that they saw in him when he was at Lille.
Exactly that. You'd like to think, that he's learned his lesson after, Mikel Arteta will have disciplined him. And you'd like to think that now, moving forward, he will take a more mature approach. But in your opinion, now, before we move on, can he be a success? Could he end up being a success at Arsenal?
Well, I certainly hope so. There's parts of the times I've seen him, he's looked pretty good. He loves that out area, cutting inside and trying to shoot on target, scoring goals. He scored a couple of really important goals, European goals, I think, if I remember. I don't know, I can't remember. I think he might have came on as a sub. But again, that tells you everything you need to know about him. You know, he's not a starter, but he can have impact in football matches. I suppose I should cut this down, Emma, to answer your question properly and just say, I think he's going to be a huge success at Arsenal. No, I don't. I don't even know if he'll be there next summer, because so far what I've seen is not the player that I thought Arsenal were bringing in. And as of yet, you can't say he's been an Arsenal success. And it's all down to Nicolas Pépé. So it's over to you, buddy. Show us what you're worth and show us how Arsenal spent that kind of money on him.
Absolutely. And it's over to you, Arsenal fans, to feel free, as always, to have your say in the comments below. Now, our third and final one to watch today, Al, is as big a character off the pitch as he is on the pitch. Andy Robertson, 20 years of age, obviously joined Liverpool from Hull for $8 million in 2017. And what a story, eh?
Oh. And remember, we think of Andy Robertson now as one of the best left fullbacks, left wing backs in the world, playing with Liverpool, and he left Dundee United, went to Hull. Nobody really known too much about him apart from some Scottish people and obviously people within Scotland that watch football. And he worked so hard and was so impressive at Hull that Liverpool took a chance, and you know, the rest is history, as they say. You know, Champions League, league winner, etc., etc. Andy Robertson is just the epitome of everything that you would expect from a football player, with the grit and determination to prove everybody wrong and to get to the top and stay at the top. Fantastic story.
Yeah, very well summed up, that, Al. And we have a look at his Liverpool stats. 140 games, 33 assists. And, you know, he's the last man standing at the minute, isn't he, in Liverpool's first choice defence. So it means he's got a big role moving forward this season, doesn't it?
Well, put it this way, I don't think at any time Andy Robertson thought he would carry that kind of responsibility. I mean, he does for Scotland, to be fair. You know, he's captain Scotland, and he's one of the reasons why we've had some wonderful results lately. But at Liverpool, he probably thought he would be one of the more diminutive characters within the football team that might have to carry a little bit of responsibility. But he stepped forward. I think I can't remember Klopp ever saying anything bad about him. He's probably had, well, how many games? 140 games, I think you said. He's probably had 5 bad games, and within those bad games, I mean, he was a 7 out of 10 instead of an 8 or a 9. And he's got this brilliant thing with Trent Alexander, where they were on this assists thing, weren't they? And it drives you on when you have that kind of competition within the team. He's been absolutely fantastic, Andy Robertson. He really has. And he's, like you say, he's a top character. But long may it continue for him, and he's done a fantastic job. And I think genuinely, when we try and look at the ones to watch, he seems such an obvious one to maybe think of buying and selling football players within the football index. But it's just like, why would you not have someone like that whose stats are so high and never really gives you a bad game? He's been brilliant, Andy Robertson. He really has.
Yeah, rock solid. And just finally, Al, before I let you go, fancy Scotland's chances?
Listen, Andy Robertson's good. And I'm not, you stop that right now, by the way. Thinking it's got, listen, we are realistic, if nothing else. Andy Robertson, and we've just been speaking about him, obviously, is one of the big reasons that we will be playing in the Euros next year. But even this Tartan Army, as fabulous as we are realistic to think we're not exactly going to win it. But then again, you never know.
You never know, indeed. Well, I'll throw that back over to you to feel free, as always, to have your say in the comments below. Thank you, as always, Alan McInally, for joining us. And
thanks, Em.
So much for joining us for this week's Ones to Watch, powered by Football Index, where you bet on the football stock market by buying shares in the world's top players. We'll see you next week.